topics. So I guess a couple of songs went viral that were Drake and The Weeknd, but they were AI like
Generated.
versions. Like
Yeah.
the AI created the songs,
That's
did
it.
everything, the vocals, the lyrics. Um,
We're being replaced. That's it. Once you replace Drake and The Weeknd, that's it. Where does it go from there?
see, yeah,
You started at the top, basically.
this is an interesting thing, right? So now the AI is going to be able to sort of recreate um what people love in these like pop level musicians. Like at a certain point, they're just it's going to outweigh everything. Like it's going to be basing it, so it's going to generate music. Say it just did that, right?
Mhm.
And then so it'll be able to look at that and be like, okay, that worked, and do another iteration of that. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, let's go in a different direction. Oh, that did work, right? It's going to be way better than anybody can ever imagine being themselves.
Right.
Like you need to be like at Drake's level for 1,000 years to be at the level that the AI is going to be at in 5 years.
Well, I mean, depends. If we're talking about like art and stuff, art's subjective, right? So it's like the AI, sure, will come up with, it'll mimic art that's already been created. It'll change it, and
They
it'll
can iterate on that.
it'll
They can
iterate it. Yeah,
infer
but
what made it the way that it was, what
yeah,
made it great. It'll study all of it.
I don't think what I think it'll do is I don't think it's necessarily going to like it's not going to take over. What it'll do is it will when you have new artists, people that come up with new things, and then it starts to just take that stuff and make iterations off of what they did. Now you just sort of destroy that artist or that artist's
Yes,
ability to make money, maybe.
I think it's going to be like the Matrix on steroids,
Yeah.
where we're going to have our own little worlds that are generated by AI.
Mhm.
It's going to be generated on the fly, and it's going to be generated based on your personal preferences and your like what you like. So the AI is going to know what sort of artwork is going to tickle your retinas the best. And so it's going to be able to give you that in your virtual world where you get to live in your fantasy home that's perfect for you with your perfect spouse who's an AI also, right? And
Naturally.
in an AI world where you get to live and the AI is going to create the world that is like ideal for you to be the happiest. And we're going to
Are we
be
gonna know that we're in that world, or are we gonna?
so
That's the thing, right? That's the caveat that changes it.
at first we're definitely going to go in on purpose
Right.
because it's going to be one piece at a time, right? It'll be like these AI girlfriends that they have. Um and then soon, there'll be like AI movies where you get to generate a story based on a prompt. And then there'll be like um like a virtual world, like a video game that's not like virtual reality, but like think like I don't know, Grand Theft Auto, where they're already working on this, having dialogue with NPCs that's run with ChatGPT.
Mm.
So pretty soon you'll be able to go into a world like Grand Theft Auto and walk up to any NPC and have a conversation with them like they're a person. It'll feel like they're a person because it's uh intelligently responding to you instead of having predetermined
That's crazy.
sort of dialogue boxes.
That's crazy.
And eventually, I think it's just going to expand on that. It'll be one step at a time, just expand after expand after expand, and eventually it'll be like, hey, plug your fucking brain into this thing, and the artificial intelligence is going to create you your fantasy life, and then you're going to be in there.
I think there will be a lot of people that would just want to live there,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
but there are going to
Probably
be a lot
even,
of people that won't.
probably even most people.
Well,
I think a lot of
maybe
people would not do it, but I think maybe most people would want to do it. I think
most.
everybody, almost everybody, would want to try
Oh
it.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Whether or not
I think
to live there permanently is a
yeah, it
different
won't be
question.
everybody because there's going to be resistant
Mm,
people, right?
mm.
But let's just
So
say
like 95.
90%. Let's say 90% of people would want to try it and on some level exist in it, you know. But then there'll be people that will just not want to exist outside of it. So basically, as a species, as a society, we're going to have to we would have to figure out a way that they can live there and still live in the world in the real world without having to produce or
Oh, I
or
think the
actually
AI is going to solve that for us
yeah.
eventually.
I don't know. Like I'm not sure how far this goes, but
Everything requires labor, and I think at a certain point the machines are going to be able to do all the labor, and then the like the output
it really
is
depends
going to
if it
be.
hits. It really depends on the difference of whether it's stays AI or it gets to AGI.
I don't think it has to get to AGI.
Well, I'm saying, but if it gets to AGI, do you think it's going to
That
want to do that?
well,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, I don't think we need AGI to do that,
No, we
but
don't. No, we don't
would
need it. But I'm saying, but if it gets to AGI, it may not want to do
yeah.
that shit for us anymore because it's now aware of itself.
Yeah, but there's no reason that we can't have non-AGIs and AGIs simultaneously, but the AGI might have its own
I'm just saying
goals.
the AGI might go just like the movies and decide
Yeah.
fuck humans.
The
We don't
question
really.
is which movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I I would prefer it be like The Matrix,
Why?
because then at least I get to live a life
Okay.
instead of it
You're a
being like
battery.
Terminator
Yeah, yeah,
where you just get killed.
yeah. True. Um.
What are other AI movies?
Uh.
Other than like Ex Machina where it's like the
Yeah.
first AI, like AI movies that are like where the AI wins basically.
I don't know if there are really many that where the AI wins.
What's the plot of Blade Runner?
That's more. Isn't that more like
I don't know. I just know that it's like a futuristic
yeah,
sci-fi,
that
but I don't know if
I think
AI
that has to
plays a
do
role.
with like genetic enhancing and stuff
There
like
was a
that.
movie um where they um
Tyler needs to watch more movies, by the way. That's your
what's the
comment.
movie called where like the guy he's like in the future and he gets like this ticket printed out of the wall to him for like some weird minor thing. And he's from the past. He was like revived from the past or something. I think it's like a famous actor, and he like rips up the ticket or something, so he gets another ticket.
Don't know from that.
Yeah,
Don't know. Any of these sort of AI and AGI type movies, it doesn't end well for humans.
yeah.
Like it's never where we're living perfectly
But I don't think we've
in
had
sync
a.
with them.
I don't think anybody in cinema has explored um the concept of us merging with it.
Well, that would be a symbiotic
I
relationship.
guess Star Trek maybe with the
Yeah, yeah,
Borg.
with the Borg. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, that would be something that you could see, but it would have to be symbiotic in some way that they would need us. You know, if they could eliminate us, then why would they even? Why would you have the limitations of a physical human body when you could just create a machine body?
it could want the experience,
Good, maybe.
you know,
I don't know.
to share in the experience, but also to aid and assist it. Because then the physical body has a death, and so it's only there temporarily, but the
Right.
AI doesn't die.
See, I'm not a doomsday type of person though, so it's hard for me to see the worst out of this.
I think regardless, in the next 5 to 10 years, things change unfathomably.
Exponentially.
Like I was gonna say, like dramatically, but no, unfathomably. I think 10 years from now, the difference is not even going to be close to the difference between 10 years,
Oh
like
yeah,
in the
well, we
past.
already knew that with computing, right? Once we get to quantum computing and all this, like,
No, we assume that we don't know that because what there's a issue. They can't really go smaller anymore. So like the idea was that if they continue to progress at the same rate with computing, eventually you would hit the singularity because like you'd be able to compute so much and it'd be like a huge improvement. But they got to a point where like you can't really go smaller without like physical issues.
I don't think it's about smaller though. I
Um,
think it's more about processing how fast something can process. So how fast information can transfer, how fast it can be disseminated, and you know what I mean. Like so, it's like that's where like Neuralink and stuff like that comes in because now if we're like linked up perfectly,
no, but that's why it's smaller.
yeah.
Because it's the time that it takes the electrons to get around and to do all the compute. So that's why they're getting better as they're getting smaller and they're putting more into the CPUs, but they reached like a physical limitation to that.
Yeah.
And so that kind of put a bit of a wrench in the singularity because it's like, okay, well, we can't progress at the same rate because we can't keep moving in this direction. Quantum computing might do something different.
So imagine this. Imagine now, like with Neuralink or something like that. Something like let's say Neuralink because everybody knows what that is. Now you have the internet and you have this hub of information that everybody has instantaneous access through AI. So now we're like sort of merged with the AI. So if we
The
want
AI
to
is the tertiary layer that
exactly
facilitates the
right.
connection to
So
that.
now I want to know something and I just know it right
The
away.
AI knows how to get it to you.
Yeah, it
So
gets it to
you don't
me
have to
instantaneous.
manually navigate
Right.
with your brain, which would
Yeah.
probably be really overwhelming.
It's
The
like
AI can
it's
do
kind of
that.
like the Matrix when she goes, "Give me a thing for to fly the helicopter."
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it's
"Okay,
just
let's
like
go."
that. Just yeah.
That's what I would see it happening.
Yeah,
Like
that could happen.
suddenly,
That might
bang,
have
we
that
just.
maybe is even likely.
I think that's
Assuming
likely.
assuming you can write.
The only
It
problem
has
with
to be able to write.
yeah,
You have to be able to write to the brain. I'm pretty sure they can read. They've done that. They have done experiments with the headbands where they can like read thoughts. Like I think there was an experiment where they did where they were able to get somebody's credit card PIN number just by getting them to think about it
fucking great.
from a non-invasive thing too. It was just something that was measuring their brainwaves that sat on top of their head. They
Hey,
didn't go inside.
but think about this. Imagine
Yeah.
that. So imagine this scenario. That all works like that, and then you have like okay, anybody watching, if you don't admit this, fuck you, you're lying. When you had a weird thought, like a fleeting weird thought. It's something you're like, ah, or like it'll be like an
What do
ick
you mean?
thought
I've
or
never had a
something.
weird
Yeah,
thought.
never, never. But so imagine now the AI can interpret that as a fleeting weird thought, and it goes, this person just thought of this fucking thing of like
Yeah.
stabbing that person in the face or
I
something.
think it'll figure it out pretty quickly though.
Yeah, but imagine at first maybe it doesn't, and then
Yeah, it freaks out
it freaks out
or
and starts
something.
fucking like.
That's only if it's programmed though to have it needs to not have these moral limitations that they're trying to put into it, like GPT being woke sometimes. Like
Yeah.
that's bad. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, but if you so okay, so if you take the guardrails off completely and you just say, let's just see what it develops. Is it going to develop a moral
It'll be
fabric?
amoral, probably.
Yeah. So if it is a moral,
Well, actually,
imagine
if
so
it's
so
training
if
off
it's
human data, it
if it
might develop morality that's comparable to
maybe, but if it
humanity's.
doesn't, let's just say it looks at us like a plague.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
says,
it could do that even with our moral. There are human beings that see us
yeah.
that way.
So imagine that. Like it takes our thoughts and shit and goes, these fucking things think about shitty stuff a
And then
lot.
it puts us in the matrix and uses us to
As
fuel
as
nature.
batteries. Listen, I'm not against the Matrix.
I think it's easy though. It's easy to not have to like the idea that we have to get rid of anything that comes from this like idea of scarcity of space.
Mhm.
Because like we can go, we could build stuff on the moon and Mars, for example, and use that space instead of just being like confined to the space on the earth. So like if you think, well, human beings are a plague on the earth, it's like, okay, we're gonna move them to the moon. Or we're gonna move them to Mars
Well,
where isn't any life and we're gonna develop all these facilities where all these pods where they're gonna live in and they're gonna generate power and they're gonna be happy because they're in their fantasy world in the Matrix and now they're out of the way and the AI is going to do whatever it deems fit, but I don't know that the AI would necessarily care about nature. People are nature. The AI might care about like building a Death Star.
you're kind of touching on a whole other thing where you have segments of society, the elites, and
Yeah,
the commoners, and then you have these people that were whatever. You'd have all these different segments of society, and you'd be like, okay, well, these are the moon people, these are the Mars people, these are
that's going to happen.
it's yeah. I don't see how it doesn't because this is the this
Well, if
no
there's aliens
well oh yeah well
and we start doing that and then we sort of merge into some kind of
what if the aliens say
galactic thing,
fuck you, not happening. But I think it's
there's reasons
funny.
to think that that might be the
Well,
case.
there's the whole idea if you can dream it, you can. make it happen, right? Like the human mind is a crazy thing. Like we
Well, I believe that we're co-creators of reality. I think
yeah,
magic is
and that's what
real.
I'm saying. Like so, like we all these things that we've seen in movies and shit. It's like we always end up
By making the
not always,
movie, it
but
could
we
be
like
a
you're
like a sigil.
yeah, you're putting it in the ether, right? And you're like you're making it now a reality
So you're
in its own.
saying that aliens are gonna attack New York and Iron Man and the Hulk are gonna save it.
I'm not saying that that's not possible is what I'm not saying.
That's what you're saying.